What up? This is Jerry Spatch. I've been featured in the Boston Globe, the Huffington Post, XXL, Kotaku, bunch of other media outlets. In this video, I'm going to tell you how you can get media attention for your business. Subscribe if you're new, and let's hit it. So the first thing on getting media attention for your business is 1. Do not write a press release. I repeat, do not write a press release. No matter what you do not write a press release. This is one of the main tips I see quoted online in all those articles. It's a terrible idea. You will not get media attention if you write a press release. Press releases are for bigger companies who already have a following of an interest in them. If you're a startup, no one knows who you are, or you only have a medium-sized following, press release is not going to make a journalist want to write about you. It's going to make them say, hey, this guy can't take the time to send me a personal email, and they're just going to click delete on your email. So do not write a press release. You want to write journalists a personalized email from the founder. To get them to write your story, you have to make it unique to you. And the best way to do that is to write an email to the journalist explaining yourself. Title your emails from whoever you are, from the startup. Don't make it look like a press release you're just blasting everyone. You're a startup company, so no one really cares about your press release, honestly. But you can use the fact you're a startup to your advantage. That's the key. Number 2, you want to research the newspaper, the website, the journalist, or whatever you're trying to get into. See, not every media outlet is going to want to take every single story. Some places like stories about certain topics. Some people have certain tones with their stuff. Product is some kind of innovation in computer science. You might get into Wired, but the Higher Ed Chronicle, a website that does editorials on university, isn't going to want to cover that. See, different sites target different things, so no matter what, you're not going to be able to get on every single site. So you want to target the ones you can get into. If it's a tech product, you want to go for Wired, you want to go for any one of the other major tech websites, tech media outlets. And if it is a general story, like you might want to go for the Huffington Post, there has to be a match. There has to be some reason that this website wants to cover you guys, and it has to fit with them. Journalists are the same way. So when you're getting media attention for your business, you're going to want to reach out to a specific journalist about covering it. Like, there's going to be 100 different journalists. They're going to have their names and possibly their emails on the website. You want to email the ones with personalized emails, the ones that would most likely cover what you're trying to cover. Research articles on products similar to yours and reach out to those journalists is a good way to get it, because they already have an interest on things in your category. So like when I was doing Verse the Rap Game, I would research other people who wrote articles on different card games because I know they like games. Whoever else I was targeting my story. That way, I knew they already had an interest and was more likely they'd cover it. Every single feature that I've gotten, none of that has been from a site that there wasn't some kind of match, and from a journalist that didn't have an interest. I could not get into the Wall Street Journal with Verse, the freestyle rap-based card game, because it wasn't a match. But I did get into every hip-hop media outlet. That's XXL, Vibe, Hip Hop DX. The hip-hop stuff, that was a match. Finance news, that's not who's gonna cover me at all or ever, and they should not, because it's not a match. Even if I were to get in, no one would be interested in that because they go there for finance news. They go to XXL for hip-hop news. Therefore, you should target journalists that have similar interests and sites that make sense. That's the key. Number 3 is probably one of the most important things. You want to make whatever you're pitching unique to you. You want to tell your business's unique story. So this is probably one of the most important ones because that's what's going to get the journalist to write about you. They want something new, something fresh, something people want to see. So when you send that email, you're sending them a pitch. That's what they call it. So you're basically saying, this is what I'm doing. This is why it's interesting. This is why you should write about it. That's your goal. And if you do that right, they'll actually be interested and they will write about it. But therefore, you have to tell your story uniquely. Journalists get like 200 plus emails per hour maybe. So your email has to be the one that stands out the most. Tell your story. Like, tell why your business is interesting, why people should care about it, basically. When I pitched Verse the Rap Game, basically my pitch was college entrepreneurship student makes freestyle rap-based card game. It's a game that makes it so anyone can rap. That's pretty interesting, just that one sentence, then I elaborated a little bit more. But if I had pitched it as Boston student makes rap card game, that's a lot less interesting, so a journalist is not willing to write about it as much. Even if your story is interesting, you have to present it in a targeted, concise way that would be interesting to them. So no matter what it is, you just have to tell the journalist to them in the right way, just to make it the most interesting thing possible that sounds like a story. The subject line of your email should potentially be a potential headline. So 4 is also really important. Do not write these super long emails. Like, I see this stuff about press releases and it's like, write them 4 paragraphs about why your business is entering in the overall story. This is a terrible, terrible idea. Your email has to be able to be comprehended in, I'd say, between 10 and 12 seconds before that journalist is just gonna click on the next email, because they get, I wanna say, thousands of those a day. So your email has to be concise and people have to be able to get it very quickly. The longer it is, the more likely it is you'll lose their attention span. Your story has to be unique, but it has to be targeted enough someone can get it immediately. Like, I'd say 5 sentences is the max, and 1 picture before people lose interest in whatever you're saying. And the journalist is just gonna delete your email, decide it's too complicated, not marketable, not interesting enough. But the Verse the Rap Game Kickstarter, when I had that big media push, got in most of the major media outlets, that was a 4-sentence email and 1 picture. You should ideally aim for that. Anything else, you risk just losing their interest, and they don't really read these things. Like, if the initial email gets their interest enough, then they'll call you up and then ask you questions. They don't want all the details over email. They just want the main parts and the headline. So next thing is, do ask them to set up a meeting so you can go over the details and really explain your story more. So you should aim for about 5 sentences in your email. The last of those 5 sentences should be asking for them to take a call with you or set up a meeting. Like on the Verse the Rap Game emails I did, it was usually, do you have 10 minutes in the next few days so we can talk about what I'm trying to do, or I can explain it to you more? Then they'll reply, yes. When are you free? And then you can then get on the phone with them. If you can get on the phone with them, they've already decided your story is interesting enough. They're just trying to make sure. That should be the goal. They're gonna wanna do a phone call with you anyway. You have to make it clear that you wanna get on the phone with them. That's the key. Like, when they write the article, they're gonna get all the details from you on the phone. They take their own notes and then they write the article from those notes. So the email is only a method to get them on the phone. Then the phone call is what makes them write the article about you. Very important. So with the emails, you're just trying to set up meetings for the most part with these different journalists. So number 6 is, do not write a press release. This is a terrible idea. Like, you write personalized emails explaining your story and why it's interesting. That's really important, because I know some of you are gonna write press releases. It's a terrible idea. 7 is, when you're writing these emails, follow up with the journalist if you don't get a response. So you send the initial email, you wait a certain amount of time that you can predetermine, then you send a follow-up email. Just a simple 1 or 2 sentence email that says, hey, did you get my previous email? If they get that, they know you're legit, you're serious about it, and then they'll check your previous email and possibly set up a call with you. Like, my response rate on these articles was through the roof on my follow-up email. The first email, I got some articles like that, but the follow-up is what really locked in a lot of the bigger ones, because a lot of people are just email blasting them. If you follow up with them consistently, every 3 to 4 days, or even every week, 2 to 3 times, then they know you're serious, and that gets you in front of mind. They know you're someone worth their time because you're following up. So send a follow-up. Simple sentence, 2 to 3, just checking in. Did you get my previous email? This will work wonders. I got the biggest Verse the Rap Game article done like that. So 8 is, dude, cast your net kind of wide. Like, message every single journalist that you think would be interested. there's no con in reaching out to as many people as possible. With that said, don't just blast a bunch of journalists. You know, you want to be kind of liberal with your emailing, honestly, but email blasts are generally a wrong idea because the time you spend doing that, you could be spending targeted emails, and targeting emails are going to work a lot better, especially in really big outlets. Like, they can tell when you're blasting them, so you want to kind of not do that for the most part. I am saying that you should reach out to a bunch of different journalists. Like, more is always better, but your primary method of outreach shouldn't just be a giant email blast. You should do kind of a mixture of the two. Like, blast people respectfully and then do the targeting more so than that. I will say, if you just blast every single person at a media outlet, then they might not work with you, which isn't good. In one place, I won't say the name, but I had 3 people want to write the article about it because I emailed multiple people and they all talk. They all work in the same place. So if they're like, oh yeah, this guy emailed me too, then they're gonna be like, oh, he's just blasting us. This is just generic stuff. You don't want that to happen because then they might not write the article because they know you're blasting every single person. So be liberal with it, but realize if you're messaging every journalist somewhere, they all work in the same building. They're gonna know. Find creative ways to reach out to these journalists. When I did Verse the Rap Game, one of my biggest articles was because I actually wrote like some freestyle raps to these journalists and I sent it to them. And then they really liked it and they were like, you're legit. You reached out to me, I've never seen that before, so it caught my interest. I took the time to write them a personalized rap, which made sense with my product because it was a freestyle rap card game, and then it was this kind of a match. You can be creative with it and do something different. You should do that, especially if it matches your products, because that would be awesome. Because then that also gives them something to write about and they know you're different, which is important and unique, just like your story. So that's the end of the video. Hope you liked it. Remember, these journalists just want something interesting to write about, and your story is definitely interesting enough. They don't put college student makes rap card game, put Boston entrepreneur and college student makes freestyle rap based card game. The game that makes it so anyone can rap. That's what's going to get you attention if you present the story in a way that works for each of the outlets. And that will make you more successful by far. So hope you liked the video. Subscribe if you were new. I release stuff very frequently. I hope you like it and I will see you in the next video. Bye.